We got shirts. Emo shirts. We got emo shirts. Check out our emo shirts at We Got Shirts. We got shirts for the boys and the girls and everyone else who doesn't identify as either of those. We got shirts for the moms and the dads and the sisters and the brothers and the aunts and the cousins and the half-step second cousins twice removed and all those people in your family that aren't really your family, but you call them family. Oh yeah, we got shirts. We got shirts for the emo boys and the girls and all the other people that identify as whatever they want to. We've got shirts. If you haven't heard, can you tell us about the shirts, Pat?
Yeah, we've got shirts. You can wear them on your body.
We spent the better half of the past 3 days setting up a store for some really cool emo shirts. There's no mention of our podcast on the shirt. They're just some fun shirts that I'm sure...
No mention at all. Should have thought about that a little more, maybe.
I'm sure anyone who listens to the show will understand all of these shirts. They're pretty weird, niche things. Super excited about it.
Super niche. Very excited.
So check out reminiscentpodcast.com/shop. All listeners of the podcast forever get a $5 off if you enter podcast in checkout, and you'll have a shirt on the way to you. Show all your friends how emo you are. It's going to be sick.
Emo. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's start the show.
Let's start it.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. They say you can't choose your family. Well, you also can't choose which era of music you grew up in. This is a weekly show where we discuss our favorite bands from adolescence and how they continue to shape our lives today. Each week, we'll head back to the early 2000s and take a closer look at the cards we were dealt.
I was trying to pretend that there was clapping and fun music in my ear.
Yeah, no.
But it's silent in this room, so I was just bobbing my head like an idiot, trying to be your hype man for a minute there.
Appreciate it. So what are we doing this week? We kind of left it as... We kind of went off on our own to do different things this week. Can you, again, tell the listeners what the hell's going on here? Because I don't really fully understand either.
Welcome to the first ever Reminiscent Podcast Trivia Show.
Hey-oh.
That's right. The pretend clapping is still in my ears, aka it's not. I've been driven slightly mad. But yeah, inspired by Twitter. Thanks for getting at us, guys, at _reminiscent FM. This week, the topic is, you know what it is, Tom. Let the good people know.
I'm not actually too sure. I think, well, Academy Is was mentioned.
Yes, it was. Sorry, I'll stop talking like there's a jingle still going on behind my voice.
Okay, I have questions prepared, but they are not related to the Academy Is. So we might be doing two different shows at once today.
Okay, off to a great start. You know what? I'm going to keep the jingle in my head. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Just to keep the vibes up, keep it going strong. But yeah, so yes, I have prepared two different games, each with 5 or so questions related directly to the band, the Academy Is ... ellipses, as it were.
Oh God, I prepared my own questions.
Sounds like you have not.
None of them have anything to do with the Academy.
We'll call it. Make sure to stick around for round 3, the mystery game. Ooh, dun, 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 dun. Welcome to part 1. Dun, 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 dun. The Academy Is Mayday Parade or Forever the Sickest Kids. You will be tasked, contestant, with a question, and you have to guess whether or not we're talking about the Academy Is Mayday Parade or Forever the Sickest Kids. Are you ready, player 1?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Wait, no, I started talking like you. Sorry. Went from like a booming voice to the contestant voice real quick, which I think borderline schizophrenic activity. But anyway, question 1. Are you ready? Yes, we're ready. Let's get into it. This is the Academy Is episode. You wanted this, Twitter, and you're going to get it. Question 1. This Chicago area band's EP was recorded in Villa Park, Illinois at the Gallery of Carpet. The Gallery of Carpet. What do you know? By producer Brian Zieske. Wow, these are the hardest words ever. Pete Wentz, also a Chicago person from Fall Out Boy, heard it and was impressed. The label, Fueled by Ramen, immediately signed the band. In July and August of that year, the group went on tour with Fall Out Boy, Bayside, Name Taken, and Armor for Sleep. Is that a reference to the Academy Is, Mayday Parade, or Forever the Six Kids?
Oh, Fueled by Ramen. I don't know. Oh, shit.
You have a 33.33 repeating percent chance to get this question correct.
It's interesting because usually I know what label bands were on, and somehow I don't know what.
Yeah,
any
Fueled
of
by
these
Ramen was like deserves an episode of its own. I feel like, in doing some like light research for this episode.
Also, which band did we talk about a couple weeks ago that Pete Wentz kind of brought into fame? Who was that?
I think they had a hand. Fueled by Ramen's biggest success was easily,
Panic.
as far as I could tell, the Panic at the Disco record that went, I think, certified double platinum. Their first studio record. But I think there was a connection between Fall Out Boy there. But that is a band that is not one of the 3 options that we've established for this game. Tom, you don't have to be so nervous. There's literally no prize money. There's no jail time at stake here.
Well, now I'm trying to figure, I think, was it the Killers that Brandon Urie or Pete Wentz helped out? I don't know. Either way, I'm going to just blindly guess the Academy Is because I figured you might start the show with an actual Academy Is answer.
You know me very well. Ding, ding, ding. You sly bastard. Yes, the Academy Is Illinois people helping Illinois people. Pete Wentz. Fueled by Ramen was, I think, founded or linked slightly to the Less Than Jake crowd down in Gainesville.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Pete Wentz heard their music and said, these guys got something or something like that. So they joined the team and let her rip, and we are graced with their presence ever since. And here we are podcasting about it years later. So we are also fueled by ramen in a way. Brought to you this week
that's
by ramen.
Crazy
Instant
that
noodles. Pete
Wentz is such a trendsetter. He's discovered. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
He's the emo boy.
Also, so many bands came out of Illinois. It's like the second Ohio of the Midwest, or maybe the whole Midwest is just the same thing.
Illinois, the second Ohio
of the Midwest,
except for Chicago. I think most of the things that are credited in Illinois are coming from the greater Chicagoland area, if I had to gander a guess. Are you ready for question 1.5?
Oh, geez, 1.5. Yes, sir.
That's right. All right. This band changed its name by adding another word in 2004 to avoid legal complications with other established bands already under that name.
Do I have options, or am I just going for it?
Yes, we are still playing the game called Is This Academy Is Mayday Parade or Forever the Sickest Kids? Welcome, everyone, to the Academy Is episode. The following questions will be based around that theme that we've established at the beginning of the show.
Can't express enough how confused I was going into this week. It's like
I thought this was about as cookie cutter and easy as possible, but then you guessed Panic at the Disco for the first question, which wasn't a possible answer. So now I'm wondering if there's something deeply wrong with me, but I don't think so. But yes, just to be clear, this second question 1.5, which I guess the numbering of the questions could be deemed a little confusing. Yes.
Well, oh, God. Forever the Sickest Kids. What would that be without... You said they added one word?
That's right.
All right, well... The Sickest... It could be any of those. Holy shit, because it could just be Mayday.
Yeah, this is a good game.
It could be the Academy, or it could be the Sickest Kids. I don't think it's that. God, I wish people could tweet at the show in real time. I'm going to go with Mayday Parade.
Ooh.
thinking that the other band's name was
Is that
Mayday.
Is that your final answer?
I'm guessing I'm gonna be wildly guessing this entire episode. Yeah, final answer, Mayday Parade.
I'm gonna regis you so hard this episode. All right, he's locking it in, folks. I don't know about this one. No, you are actually in. Yeah. That was a horrible wrong noise, but it is wrong. It's the Academy Is. They added the is ... later to avoid any complications. But yeah, they were originally calling themselves the Academy, which I guess is a pretty broad phrase. But yeah, are you ready for question 2? That was question 1.5.
Yeah.
And for those following along at home, how are you doing that? Because we're not even following along in real time.
I almost said Blink-182 to that answer because before I asked what the options were.
The thing is, Pat, Panic added the 182 to make sure that they...
Panic 182.
No, yeah. Question 2. This next question is in the framework of the same game. And if you'd like to proceed, we shall.
Let's do it.
Okay, I guess we might as well. We all came out here today, so we might as well just do the damn thing. Okay. Which of these titles is a Mayday Parade song? Option 1. If you wanted a song written about you, all you had to do was ask. Option 2. I'd hate to be you when people find out what this song is about. Which of those 2 titles is a Mayday Parade song?
I already forgot the first one, but I know it's the second one because that's the first song that Sam Cray showed me in Mrs. Rad's homeroom sophomore year of high school. And I thought it's okay, whatever. And then I came back to it like a month later with the other songs off of, what was that album called? Your sister made fun of you for having in the car. And I just thought, why would you start me off with this song? That's not even the best song.
A Lesson in Romantics.
A Lesson in Romantics.
Yeah, I accidentally plugged my iPod into your computer, erasing my meticulously pieced together youth library and just got yours. And one of the playlists was just the album. And my sister hey, can I borrow your iPod for a road trip? And her friends, all her girlfriends from college or whatever, just spent the entire 2-hour drive just mocking me relentlessly for thinking that I had come up with the phrase "a lesson in romantics" myself and meticulously pieced together a playlist based on the love I was feeling at that time period, I guess.
So funny.
So that was truly, not funny actually, Tom. The news, it actually for me was the worst thing ever. But no, it wasn't so bad. Although I do miss that first iTunes I had. I feel like with Spotify and Apple Music and everything, you kind of realize you're never going to get back to that first collection of music that you had, or all the music you've heard and enjoyed over the years. It would take several weekends of sitting down and just remembering all the movies you've watched and all the things you've read and places you've been and time periods, and organizing it would be kind of a daunting task. But
right. So
I'm kind of mad that first Gateway 95 ended up crashing. Of course it was going to. I should have prepared for the worst and got an external hard drive or something, but it still doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth, if I'm being honest.
It got full on LimeWired, just blasted with porn viruses.
Actually, I don't know if I had LimeWire on that computer. I would go over to Kevin Lee's house and use his computer for LimeWire because it already had LimeWire. I'm it's already too far gone. We might as well just keep killing this computer. Two computers don't have to die here today.
So okay, going back, what were the options again?
If you wanted a song written about you, all you had to do was ask. Or, I'd hate to be you when people find out what this song is about.
Aren't they both Mayday Parade?
Ding, 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 ding. Oh! They are both ridiculously long and dramatic song titles. You got that one right. Congrats.
Nice. Okay, so I'm one.
And since question 2 was really question 1.5, it was only worth half a point. So really, you only lost half a point so far. I think you're doing pretty well.
Okay, good.
Okay, question 3. Well, question 4, but it's called question 3. That's right. Okay. This is still the same game. And the question is, this band's first single was re-released as a duet featuring Selena Gomez.
What?
Yeah, this band of the three we were talking about, the band, their first single was eventually re-released as a duet featuring Selena Gomez. That's Selena Gomez, for those wondering. Yes.
Oh my God. See, the problem is I don't know the Academy Is that well. I had their first album, whatever it was, on my little 4 gig blue iPod mini. I think Hannah introduced me to that band, as she did with most others that I've ever enjoyed in my life. And I think like alphabetically, it was the first song. So like every time I plugged my headphones in, it would just be like, attention, attention. Like it just started playing. But like that is legitimately the only thing I know about the band. And I think their second album was called like Santi or something. So I feel like if I don't know the answer, I should default to the Academy Is. But I feel like Mayday Parade probably shares more of the same crowd with Selena Gomez. Because when I saw Mayday Parade in like 2007, oh my God, I had the straightest hair so long. I hadn't seen them before, so I didn't really know what the crowd was like. And I showed up to Forward Hall in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it was like me in a line of like 200 teenage girls. Yeah, it was awesome too. Like they are a super talented band, along with Go Radio, which Jason Justin, the one singer, left and started that. I'm gonna guess Mayday Parade, but I don't know. Forever the Sickest Kids had you
keep
money.
Saving yourself by continuing to talk your answer out. Because I wasn't sure. There have been 2 gaps so far where I was going to slide in and say whether or not you had the right or wrong answer.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Forever the Sickest Kids had that initial like launch money behind them, but I knew their first album, and I don't think Selena Gomez was in it. I'm going to say Mayday Parade.
This was a re-release of the first single. You're going to say Mayday Parade? Okay. Wrong, unfortunately. This will be a full point, by the way, deducted. Whoa, exclamation point by Forever the Sickest Kids.
Okay.
Has a re-release duet that you can go watch on YouTube right now, where she sings some of the backing vocals and some of the chorus as well.
I thought if I was wrong, it was going to be with that song. Does she like have a verse or what?
She just sings in the background on some of it, sings some of the lines. It doesn't work really well, so that's probably why you didn't hear it. It probably wasn't. It's probably just some producer's idea that thought would be good, but it wasn't. So it's pretty rough, if I had to say. Although, I don't know. It's kind of like some of those. Can we call them hair bands, like 2000s hair bands, not like late 80s metal bands?
Emo hair bands, yeah.
Emo, yeah, some of the hair bands of the late 2000s. It kind of, when you hear a woman singing some of those lyrics, you're like, man, maybe my sister was right to make fun of me for listening to a lesson in romantic so much, because hearing Selena Gomez sing this is not that Selena Gomez isn't a very talented pop star, and that my wife and I don't enjoy listening to some of her music on occasion on road trips and things like that. But yeah, it's kind of like, oof, okay. Yeah, Whoa takes on a different tone a little bit when Selena's singing it.
Okay, so I just Googled it. Yeah, so Whoa, subtitle Me Versus Everyone, was re-released in 2008. I guess. So this is why I was thinking it maybe was them, because they had that launch money behind them. I didn't think they had like 3 EPs and a bunch of singles before they launched their first album. So I was thinking it must have been something that came before the first album, but the re-release came after the first album, which was already wildly successful. So why would they even do that? That's so weird.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Bad idea for sure.
Wow.
Worth a shot, I guess. I could, worth a shot. If you're sitting there, you're like, we could do this. I guess it's worth the shot, but it definitely didn't work.
The good thing about that at that time is like 2008, the internet still isn't what it is today. So if something failed, you'd be more likely to just not hear about it rather than like get flamed with memes for 2 months. You know what I mean? So maybe
actually, you bring up an interesting point. A quick aside, reading up on the Academy Is and stuff, and even Reliant K from last week, I guess the Academy Is had kind of a video podcast series that they would like broadcast on their website and stuff. And Reliant K has numerous ones they had done with Switchfoot and things like that on tour, talking to the guitar techs and stuff. But some of the bands we've been talking about recently in that mid 2000s range actually were producing their own content, I guess, before social media would have allowed them to do so, kind of on a minute by minute basis, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because you mentioned this is still kind of loosely the pre-internet age, but it was interesting that the Academy Is did that, because I don't really remember it, but I remember those types of content pieces being around. Like we did a Taking Back Sunday episode where there was a little video fans could watch about the filming of the Make Damn Sure music video and stuff. So it was almost like there was a thirst for it and new ways to deliver it and capture it, but there wasn't quite like the facilities set up yet to do so kind of immediately in real time. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is. Huh.
I think it was released on iTunes and things like that. And of course, like I said, the band's website. But yeah, good for the Academy Is for, I don't know, being ahead of the times, I guess. I wonder if you dug up any of those old Academy Is or Reliant K. They called them video podcasts, which I think is just a not super understanding what the form is to begin with. Podcast being so audio-centric. But anyway, next question. This band's song, In Fate's Hands, appeared in the Madden 07 soundtrack, a game that featured a picture of Seattle Seahawks running back Sean Alexander.
Made it pray. In Fate's Hands?
Trick question. It was the red jumpsuit apparatus. Pull the red jumpsuit apparatus, club horn lever, baby. Yes. Welcome to the newest feature on Reminiscent Podcast. We're always going to mention red jumpsuit apparatus at least once from every show we do from here on out. And this is going to be my new favorite thing. You cannot stop me. This is just going to keep happening, Tom. You can try to edit me out, but I'll keep bringing up the red jumpsuit apparatus. This is the only thing I was born to do and the only thing I intend to continue on doing for the rest of my life for as long as I draw breath. Yes.
Weren't they canceled recently? Man.
I don't remember. I don't even want to waste any more breath on it, but yeah, this segment has been brought to you by nobody except for me. And thanks for being here. Okay, next question.
No,
are you ready for the final question for this? Oh,
let me talk about Red Jumpsuit. First of all, I knew I recognized that song. What's I forget how that song went, but yeah, they were a weird band that was hot for like 2 months, and they were another one where that Face Down or whatever, was that what it was called? Where like I had the demo version for like a decade until I realized it wasn't the original.
I remember going to like sporting events in Union City and Harbor Creek and stuff, and you could tell what it was like to live in that little township or borough based on the music that the kids would warm up to. Like we would always have, we were close enough to the city, I think, where it was a little bit of a bleed over, where there'd be, people on the basketball team would put together like a reasonably up to date like rap playlist to listen to while we warmed up.
Yeah.
But going out to play soccer in Harbor Creek, there'd be just like the screamiest Thursday songs, and just like, wow, you guys are going through it, aren't you? Like there's going to be some, if there aren't drugs involved already, there's going to be soon, because just seems horribly depressing. But then you'd go like the hour drive out to Union City, and they'd warm up their basketball team to just the album that had Face Down on it by Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. You're like, oof, man, this is tough. Are you guys okay? Are you guys all right? Like, we're going to be okay, Like, oh, man. So that's like my one main memory is just like, oh, you're going to play it again? Just repeating Face Down a second time. Okay, we're just shooting layups. This is normal. Nothing, no warning signs or calls for help here at all from the fine folks of Union City, Pennsylvania. We're just going to sit here and do this. Looking up in the stands, the parents don't seem phased. It's like, okay, yeah, all right. This is cries for help not being answered, to be sure, by Gen Y in the early stages. Anyway, are you ready for the final question of this first game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Brittany or Jamie?
What?
Last question of the first game. Brittany from Hey Brittany or Jamie from Jamie All Over?
I just have to pick one?
The question's the question, man. I'm just reading the cards.
Hey Brittany.
The answer is you're wrong already, but I just wanted to hear which one you wanted to pick.
Jamie All Over is a really
and I was
good
curious
song,
if you,
though.
I'm curious if you remember the lyrics to either song well enough to know whether or not you would rather, I don't know, be friends with one of them or something.
I had a dream last night. We drove out to see Las Vegas. Right? That's Jamie all over.
I don't even know, but probably. I remember, I mean, it's not like I didn't listen to the album. I freaking loved both of those records. Probably too much, but if it was the Vegas one, that's fun. Hey, Brittany, I don't remember the verses too much, but
hey, Brittany,
I just wrote down.
Why do you do this to me? It's a boy in the bad, are you alone? And
okay, so it sounds like.
So yeah. Go ahead and lower it down, just a little bit, lower it down. There you go.
Oh, yeah. So where do we go? Choose your own adventure. I'm gonna at least have a little bit of Vegas fun and choose the Jamie path of the choose your own adventure. Sounds like both end in heartbreak, I'm sure, given the past history of the bands, even though I'm not looking at the lyric pages for either of these songs. The note card here says the answer is you're wrong, so I guess we'll just throw that one away.
The Strokes are the only good music that's ever come out in the past decade.
I will say this. We have always been anti-Strokes here at the show. And for some reason, just because there was a little bit of reading done, I would like to say unequivocally that I could give a about the Strokes. And I agree. So yes, I agree with you. Or wait, no, I disagree with you. They are not the greatest band ever.
Okay.
But they existed in the time period for which the show covers. Okay, so you scored something 0.5, 3.5. That's pretty good.
Not well.
Best we've ever done on the show. It's also the worst. It's the first trivia game we've had on the show so far. But, you know, it depends if you want to look at the glass half full. Okay, are you ready for this second game?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. Well, before we get started, we could either play the game and do this later, or do you have, because this is quote unquote the Academy Is episode where we're learning in real time as much as we've ever known about the band the Academy Is. Do you have any initial reactions to the band or first memories?
Literally my only memory of that band is what I said already, that my iPod would just start playing Attention. And the only time I remember intentionally listening to them, I think I might have had my shirt off, 16, 17 years old. I'm in the garage at my mom's house, putting gas in the lawnmower. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to listen to this whole album. I've heard the first 5 seconds of this 1,000 times. And I got like through a song and a half and was just like, you know what? I think I'd rather listen to 4 Years Strong. That's just where I was at the moment.
That sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
Right. That's the only memory I have. Like, we really wanted to do this episode because more than one person has asked for it at this point, but
yes,
I've got
we've
nothing
been shying
to
away
say.
from it. Be thankful that we never actually went through with the Incubus episode because it would have been worse than this, but we're trying to build a game around all this and make it fun. Hopefully you enjoyed that first one. This next one is also my first memory is probably a music video for Slow Down, which I love. I love that song. Made me think a little bit about if bands, I was trying to think of like bands from each scene, and bands from Erie would have been less likely, my guess, is to write a song about filmmaking, right? Like Slow Down, where they talk about subject scripts and things like that. Don't want to give too much away from this next segment, but I wonder how many bands from Chicago and Erie included, you know, lyrics about how cold it gets in the winter versus bands from California probably writing about just different weather and stuff, you know. That's not a really hot take or interesting take, but it just made me think like, I thought it was a pretty adult themes, I guess. Anyway, everything I've said about the Academy so far feels very dumb, and I'm sorry to everybody for everything as usual. Okay, welcome to the second game.
All right.
Is this an Academy Is lyric or a quote from the movie Boogie Nights? You ready for this?
I'm wildly unfamiliar with both, so it should go about as well as the first game.
Okay, Boogie Nights, Mark Wahlberg as a young boy with a large member. The movie is based around Southern Californian porn in the 70s. I think we're led to believe there are drugs. You know, John C. Reilly plays his friend who also does porn, and there's porn. They do porn. Burt Reynolds is like a director in it. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of film-related quotes from the movie. And we're going to play this game and just see how it goes, all right?
All right.
Okay, first, is this Academy Is or Boogie Nights? Quote, It seems to me, beneath those jeans, there's something just wonderful waiting to get out. End quote.
Oh, God.
Is that a lyric from the Academy Is, or a quote from the movie Boogie Nights?
I'm going to guess Boogie Nights.
Yes, you are right. A little too penisy for the Academy Is, I think. But it made you think for a minute. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second one. Quote, this film runs a shallow budget. End quote.
Well, you were just talking about film, so... But, oh, God.
It's a good game. I actually love this game. I'm going to keep playing this game after we stop recording because it's shocking how much the Academy Is lyrics line up with the movie Boogie Nights.
The Academy Is.
That's right.
Woo,
And
woo, woo.
the writer's subject script isn't any deeper, baby. Okay. Next quote. Don't pretend you've never been there. End quote. Is that a quote from the movie Boogie Nights or an Academy Is lyric?
Red jumpsuit apparatus.
No, wrong. That is a lyric. Also from Slow Down by the Academy Is.
Oh.
Okay, next quote. Heaven sent you to this place. End quote.
Heaven sent you to this place. Boogie Nights.
Yeah, wow, you're killing this one. All right.
Okay.
Here's the next one. Ding, 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 I should say. I should be happier for you when you do well. I don't know why I'm so upset. I thought the game was going to be harder, I guess.
I'm getting lucky, man.
It's almost like not watching Boogie Nights made you way better at this game because you just get to be like objective about all of it. Okay. Also, it should be noted, perhaps obviously, that the Academy Is had no music featured on the Boogie Nights soundtrack, which is obviously a crime. And we should start a petition for them to re-edit the whole thing, I guess, is what I'm fighting for here as I finish the thought in my own head. Moving on to the last question of this particular game. Quote, I will never let you fall. I'll stand up with you forever. End quote.
That's red jumpsuit apparatus.
That one's the red jumpsuit apparatus, baby. Never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. It's a new thing. It's just gonna keep going. It's kind of like our homage or like a nod to the Walker Texas Ranger lever on the old Conan O'Brien show on NBC, where he'd occasionally just shift gears and go right to a shot of Walker Texas Ranger fist fighting a grizzly bear or something. I think we're just going to try to squeeze red jumpsuit in whenever we can because I don't know until it feels like it's not working, but I just love it so damn much right now.
Well, we already talked about the only 3 good songs they had, so I don't know what else there is to say. Even if saving you sends me to heaven.
I love it. We just keep singing, man. We're just burning clock at this point.
I remember one of the first times I ever got interested in singing was that song, actually, because I could kind of play it on guitar. I was like just learning acoustic at the time. And it's also when I realized that I had kind of a higher voice than most of the other stuff that I was trying to sing. And I thought I just ripped that end part when it got all dramatic. And again, I think that song has 2 versions of it. And I listened to the demo version for f***ing years without knowing it.
Which one has Selena in it?
Neither of them, right?
Yeah, neither. Sorry. We're
I
not
thought
even
that was like
playing a
another
game
question.
I know. I could feel you get nervous for a second, but I was just messing around. Neither. The answer is neither. No, but it's kind of interesting. We appreciate the Twitter feedback. And then one of the first recommendations we got was obviously the Academy Is. And we were like, okay, this is awesome because we love the feedback. And people had been playing along with our 2003 mixtape draft and everything. We love the feedback. People have been, talking to us on Twitter about the Reliant K episode, how they've been listening to which turned, 15 this November and everything.
Wow.
We were so pumped to be like interacting with all of you. It's great. And then somebody was like, hey, you should do an episode on the Academy Is. And we were like, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Definitely. We would love to, because obviously it's one of the bands that needs to be at least addressed from the era. And then we got into the Wikipedia page and it was like, Pete Wentz noticed them, and then the album was released. And then they toured with some of the bands you'd probably assume they'd toured with at that time period. And that's it.
And here's the references.
Yeah, it's kind of like from Chicago. Pete Wentz made them famous because he's from Chicago, and they toured with Pete Wentz and other people later. And that one album's pretty good to a lot of people. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But we tried to make this trivia game to kind of elongate it. And I don't even think that should keep us from doing an episode on Forever the Sickest Kids or Mayday Parade at a later date, if I'm being quite honest with myself. But some of those late 2000s hair bands kind of lumped together and ended up morphing into acts like Cute Is What We Aim For and Boys Like Girls and stuff. Oh, yeah. And actually, I'm kind of excited to get to that part of the decade. I'm also kind of fearful of it as well. What I am excited about is January 2020 kind of starting fresh and new with the 20-year anniversaries, heading into the decade fresh from the very beginning, because you kind of have some of that bleed over from the 90s and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun ride. It's going to be weird. I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of glad we get to have a few fun episodes before we go. We're going to try to mix in some fun stuff and reporter stuff and some now you know stuff, and not get too technical or educational about it. Unless that's what you like, hit us up on Twitter with what you want to hear, what you aren't liking, what you are liking. Queen Amanda said she didn't like us meditating anymore. We'll probably do it anyway at some point because it's the only thing we know and the only thing we hold dear. Next to the segment we've been doing for a very long time now, which involves mentioning the red jumpsuit apparatus randomly in certain episodes. It's just one of those tried and true things that we've always done from the very beginning and we're going to keep doing. So it just really depends on what we feel in our hearts. You know what I mean? So all apologies to Amanda, of course, but we do take the feedback into consideration, right? Can you agree with that, at least, Tom?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You had, coming into this trivia episode, had accidentally not put together a few trivia questions that kind of weren't Academy Is related, but do you want to keep playing games if people want to stick around? If not, feel free to end the episode. I'm tempted to as well, but we're here and we're having fun. Did you want to keep playing?
I'm not going to do my questions because I don't like them.
Can I just get one?
Yeah,
What's your favorite?
I have, if I were a bear, I'd be the greatest of all, with a speech like God, so dark and foreboding. Is that A, Portugal the Man, or B, Charles Manson?
Oh my God. C, Jack London.
The funny thing is I didn't write down which one it is, so I actually don't know.
Okay. And now I can see why you... I could see we were going for with the Billy on the Street thing. We had talked about doing a trivia episode where we would try to mimic some of the games they play on that show. Some of yours, looking back over the notes now, are a little more Charles Manson related than I think we had hoped
They're
for.
like all Charles Manson.
I know. The fact that we won't know, yeah, that sounded like something out of White Fang to me, but not that I've read White Fang. But yeah, shout out, apologies to all the Canadian listeners who I think are forced to read Jack London stuff in middle school. That's all a lie. I'm just kidding. Let's get out of here. You want to get out of here?
Let's get out of here. Let's give a song of the week though.
Oh my God. Okay. The Menzingers, High School Friend. That's my song of the week. They have a record this year that they've released. And if you can believe it, I have been listening to it and I'm going to recommend that song off that album.
Awesome. That's like one of the bands that I keep like having to listen to more. I know their music, I know some of the songs, but I haven't
I'm not going to say they blew me away. It was kind of like, when my sister was talking about Camp from Austin State Limits what she was at a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Some of the pseudo hippie fucking acoustic stuff makes me want to say spare me. I could give a about, go, Instagram yourself in a field, whatever. Not to anyway. Menzingers was kind of like, if I want to hear something that sounds vaguely like Bruce Springsteen, I would listen to the Gaslight Anthem or Hold Steady.
Yeah.
It falls under that umbrella and is a less exciting version of people that have already done that. Not to be too hard on either of those bands, because apparently JW, one of the listeners, got at me and said that Camp has roots in Athens, Ohio. So I don't want to hate on him too much.
Oh,
good for
interesting.
Camp. Love Camp. We love Camp here at the show. I regret every bad thing I've ever said about him. But I would say Menzingers didn't pop, but it was definitely I didn't mind listening to it while I did the dishes the other day. And some of the songs were nice. And yeah, specifically High School Friend. I liked it. It wasn't man, this is a crazy new sound. It was just cool. They know how to play guitar and drums and bass. Cool.
All right. My song of the week, it's kind of a weird one, but it was a recommended video on YouTube. There's an electronic producer and I guess a vlogger named Andrew Huang, and he did this video called 4 Producers Flip the Same Sample. And there's a beat maker called Moonside who provided this simple piano riff, and then 4 electronic producers took that and then made a song out of it. And it was a really, really interesting, like 20 something minute video, 22 minutes. And there are the producers KK, Grant Stinnett, In Love with a Ghost, and Andrew Huang that made different songs out of this. I think I liked In Love with a Ghost's version of it more. They do more of like a lo-fi hip hop thing. And it's just, it was a really interesting experiment because I don't do electronic music. I would never have what it takes to take a sample and make 150 different sounds out of it like these people did. It's really interesting. I'm going to put the In Love with a Ghost finished track in the show notes, but also the video up in the link section, because I think if you have 22 minutes, watching the video will make you appreciate more so where these songs and the sounds came from. It was like this guy's channel. I'm really loving it. It's very eye-opening. It's inspired me to work on a little bit more of my own music as I stayed up until 3 a.m. listening to Holy Ground by Taylor Swift off of the Red album. I'm recording a cover of that as we speak. I'm going to finish that up once we're done here. But
can we hear it on the show when you're done with it?
I mean, it's probably never going to be done. That's how most of my songs go.
Oh my gosh.
But I will.
All right.
I'll upload something. And also, fun fact for the listeners, the little beat you heard before the show, the little rap tap tapping sounds, those were made on my bare feet and on my bare tummy. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah.
Talk about giving the people what they want. A reminder that your feet are near you while you're doing the show. Anyone who has listened to our past mailbags knows that there's some weird weirdos out there. They only come to the show for Tom's feet, but
they want these
you can't
tootsies.
just never give the people what they want. What's that? They want the tootsies. Yeah, they do. Dibs on the band name, I guess, or dibs on the album name. Hard to say. Maybe I don't want dibs on either. You can have it, actually. All right. I think that just about does it for our first ever trivia night here at the Reminiscent Podcast. All-time low edition. Just kidding. The Academy Is edition. My brain was sorting through all the bands that start with A in my head, and I couldn't even remember the freaking show we were doing. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for whoever tweeted at us asking for this show. We did, believe it or not, our very best. Okay. Tom, I love you. Everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Tweet at us at _reminiscent FM. Go to Teespring store, show notes, buy a shirt if you want, or don't. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. But you matter, and we matter. Thanks for coming. This is fun. All right. Tweet at us. Bye. Love you, Tom.
All right. Love you, dude. See you. Hey, shut up. Listen, we got shirts. Check it out. reminiscentpodcast.com/shop. We are going to give a discount to every podcast listener. Enter the code REMPOD15, REMPOD15, to get 15% off your order. We got so many cool emo shirts. We'd love to see you wearing them around town. And thank you for listening to the episode. We love you all. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.